Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic, and I want to welcome you to my channel, Opinion Stated, where I give unfiltered, opinionated sports takes. Let's go. Yo, what's good, everybody? My name is Cosmic. I want to welcome you back to my channel, Opinion Stated, and I've got a great episode planned today, pertaining especially to the NBA playoffs and the conference finals that we've been heavily engulfed in now for the last few weeks. What I'm not going to talk about in this video is what I'm about to talk about at the top of this video, so I'm not going to go too far in depth into it, but I do want to say, man, I'm incredibly disappointed with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Congratulations to the Oklahoma City Thunder, who have advanced, to the finals to face off against one of the teams that I'm going to talk about in this particular video. And it's only 23 years old, I'll say, right? Anthony Edwards is only 23 years old, man. He's got a lot of space to grow. Last two seasons, 22-year-old and a 23-year-old was able to get his team to the conference finals. You know what I mean? Kudos to him. Hats off to him for that. I will say, in talking about that and just kind of summing it up real quick, is not only did I feel like the team regrets, and if you watch my videos through the year, you know that I was not really big on the Karl Anthony Towns for Julius Randle trade, and for the reason I thought that it made Minnesota a bit worse. I feel like they took a step back as a team. Not only do I feel like, what I've been on record for saying that Minnesota took a step back as a team because of losing Karl Anthony Towns, and Cat had a lot to do with, like them not being able to get over the hump. But clearly, I'm not saying that Cat was like, a guy that they never should have traded, right? Or how could they? I get it. But in saying that, what I didn't say was, I feel like Anthony Edwards took a step back from his play and style last year. He came out after the Olympics, last summer, working out with Steph, shooting drills with Steph Curry, and some of the other guys, and saying that, like, man, I'm right on par as a shooter with Steph Curry. And I feel like his attention to shooting more threes this year, he actually made more three-pointers than any other player in the NBA during this particular basketball season. And I feel like that took away from his aggression to a degree, which is the point that Michael Jordan made years ago, which as a hooper, I completely understand. And when you start relying heavily on this three-point shooting, it takes away from your overall game because there begins to be this reliance upon, you shooting these shots. And people could think that what I'm saying is bullshit, and it will just really speak to you never having actually played basketball and not understanding that, especially when a coach gives you the green light, or if we're on the blacktop and you and your brain give yourself the green light, you green light yourself to just keep shooting fucking wide or long jump shots. You're just going to get kind of stuck in this mode until somebody reels your monkey ass in. And Anthony Edwards needs to be reeled in. He lost a bit of spark and aggression. I will say, as I wrap up this spiel, I said in the last video that, I felt like Anthony Edwards and the Minnesota Timberwolves haven't shared the ball around. I felt like coming out after the game 4 that they won, or game 3 that they won, that, I wanted to see them distribute the ball more than they had in the game 3 win. I wanted to see them share the ball more. And to, understanding that Anthony Edwards can get a bucket anytime that he wants. He can get a shot off anytime he wants, any shot, anytime. But without that mental aggression, without that edge mentally, without that telling of yourself, without that understanding that, I don't have to rely on just this jump shot that's not falling today. I'm going to get me a bucket. Without that kind of drive, that kind of energy being put towards scoring, you're just stuck passing the ball around, making the right play, as he said at the end of one of the games. And that's just behavior unbecoming a superstar. It's an energy unbecoming a superstar that needs to step up and put their team on their back. That's all I'm going to say on that. Before I dive into the actual content that we came here for today, I do want to say, like the video. Liking the video helps us cruise along algorithm avenue, helps us get into the presence of individuals just like yourself who might be interested in this kind of content. Subscribe to the channel. Also, subscribing and click the notification bell keeps you notified as to when my newest episodes are uploaded. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'm diving right into this content. I am entitling today's episode, Cat Brunson led Knicks force game 6. Kudos to the New York Knicks, man, who went down 0-2 after having home court advantage in the series. They went down 0-2, fell into a 0-2 hole against the Indiana Pacers, who came out and just snatched the games from them, games 1 and games 2 in Madison Square Garden. The Knicks will come back in game 3, win in Indiana, and Indiana will come back the subsequent game, game 4, and win the game to go up 3-1 in the series. This past Thursday night, the Knicks stepped up big, leading wire to wire to take game 5 and force a game 6. And that is what I want to talk about today. Don't want to belabor the point, you know what I mean, any further. Really, really, really good basketball game. It was good to see the Knicks come out and do their thing. It was good to see Cat step up and be aggressive in his play. The last 2 games, in fact, Cat has been very aggressive in his play. That's the Karl Anthony Towns that I appreciate, and that's the Karl Anthony Towns that I wanted to show himself in Minnesota. There were a couple spurts in the playoffs last year where he played that kind of downhill, just doing his thing, and getting to the basket to get his bucket instead of just simply relying on threes, and then he fade to black and go back into that mode of shooting threes again, and it just kind of fucked him up. So I've appreciated the last 2 games at least consistently. What I've also appreciated is that Tom Thibodeau is using his goddamn bench. Like, use your bench, bro. You have a team for a reason. Don't just rely so heavily on just a few players that you're running them into the ground, or not just because you're going to run them into the ground fatigue-wise, but because sometimes, man, it's just not your night. Sometimes you just don't have it going. And somebody else who's sitting over there earning money, who's a part of the team also, can come in and contribute. So those are the factors. Indiana's just flapping around right now, man. But I want to get into the stats here just really quickly. They defeat the Indiana Pacers 111-94, which I haven't highlighted just yet. But 111 points the Knicks put up in this game on 49.4% shooting from the field. So they knock in 44 of 89 shots. They shot an abysmal 27.6% from 3. Clearly, this terrible 8 of 29 to get up 29 threes. Like, yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? But this is a heavy 3-point shooting league. Like, what more can I say? We've been harping on this, you know what I mean, for years now. And I talked about it for the majority of this season. And actually, at every turn this season, teams are just going to get them up, man. So, if you can hit them, you can hit them. It's a make or miss league, as they say. The Knicks will snag 45 rebounds, dish out 22 assists, 32 points in the game for Jalen Brunson, 32 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists on 12 of 18 shooting, 4 of 7 from 3. So a very efficient night shooting from Jalen Brunson, who came out the gate hot, 14 points in the first quarter, I think only 2 points in the second quarter. And so then he scored, the additional 16 points rather in the second half. Man, played a really, really, really good basketball game. 24 points on 10 of 20 shooting for Cat. 13 rebounds in the game. Also dished out 3 assists. 11 points for OG Anunoby. 12 points in the game for Mikal Bridges. 6 for Mitchell Robinson. Just 6 and 6 rebounds for him. But 12 points off the bench. 12 and 10 for Josh Hart coming off the bench in favor of having Mitchell Robinson add a bit more of a disruption in the middle and on the glass. We saw a Precious Achiuwa sighting in that game, as I talked about. Thibodeau, in my diatribe, using some of his bench. You know what I mean? So I can appreciate, we got Landry Shamet in that game as well. And I appreciate, again, seeing the team play, man. Let the team contribute. Let these guys help. Who knows? Like, if you've been watching basketball, as long as I've been watching basketball, maybe even longer, you know that sometimes in these series, it's the Landry Shamet game. It's just the game that's going to go down as being known as the Precious Achiuwa game off the bench. Like, there's always some unlikely hero in the playoffs who steps up and helps their team win a game. You know what I'm saying? Like it always happens, man. If you've watched enough basketball, you know I'm not lying. It happens, or I'm not exaggerating. It happens in every series. It's over the years, or it has happened, I would say. When the coach relies on the team, rely on your team, bro. Trust them, respect them, let them contribute. And so the Knicks, again, will put up 111 points, win this game 111-94. Take a look at the Indiana side of things. Indiana would shoot, 40.5% from the field, 33% from three, so 10 of 30 from three, 30 of 74 from 2-point land for that 94 points. They snagged 40 rebounds in the game, dish out 20 assists. So not a good game by any stretch of the imagination for Tyrese Halliburton, who had a very strong triple double in the game five win, to nearly snatch the soul and the confidence from the Knicks. An abysmal, despicable, despicable 8 points in this game for Tyrese. 2 of 7 shooting from the field, 0 for 2 from three, I'll say. Just dished out 6 assists, so 8.6 assists, 2 rebounds in the game. Horrible fucking game. Nembhard may be feeling effects from that soreness of that ankle or something. I don't know, but only 6 points in the game from on 3 of 8 shooting. Um, Aaron Neesmith, 3 points in the game, so not much of a contributor either. 5 points in the game for Miles Turner. You know what I mean? Like their whole fucking team just play like shit. All their starters play like shit. All of them. They play like absolute fucking shit. Ain't no other way to slice it. They play like shit. They got outplayed, got out hustled, they got outclassed in this game versus the Knicks, who were hungrier and who wanted it more. They wanted it more, and it was apparent. It was evident. You could see it. Even when in the instances where Indiana seemed to, you know what I mean, like lead a charge, 7-2 run, 7-0, 8-0 run here, 9-2 run to close the quarters, etc. Like the Knicks would charge right back, run that thing right on back up to 20, cut a 20-point to 10, 20-point lead to 10. The Knicks ran that shit right back up to 20. Like, excuse me, bro, we got this today. Pascal Siakam, 15 points in the game for him, 15, 6, and 5. So Pascal, outside of the other starters, you know what I mean, was the anomaly here. He showed up to do his job. 5 of 13 shooting from the field, 1 of 3. Not a particularly great game from Pascal Siakam, but he had 15 points. Again, I'm sorry, let me just say 11 points for for Obi Toppin off the bench, and 23 points for my guy Benny Mathurin. I was correct in my last episode. Go back and watch it. I was saying that for Indiana, the importance for them, or what was going to be key and critical for them, was to get Ben Mathurin to play like Ben Mathurin had been playing all season long. In game 5, he showed up, or rather game 4, he showed up and played like Ben Mathurin. In fact, the last 2 games, game 4 and game 5, he showed up and played like Ben Mathurin. He's been 20 plus in both of the last 2 games. So I was right in my assessment through game 3, where I said, man, you need Ben Mathurin to go back to being Ben Mathurin, because he's really, really critical for them and a huge offensive punch for them coming off the bench. He and TJ McConnell, when both have things cranking on all cylinders, man, Indiana's a completely different team from the standpoint of scoring. Tyrese Halliburton is not known necessarily for his scoring. Can he score? Sure, he can. But when the whole team is flowing, Tyrese's points mean much more when you're getting a solid contribution from your starters, and Tyrese is just kind of able to facilitate as a pure classic or traditional point guard does. And the rest of these guys are contributing offensively, defensively, grabbing rebounds, you know what I mean, and doing the thing. So I just wanted to say I was right about something. You know what I'm saying? I was wrong. I'm wrong about stuff too, but I like to say when I'm right as well, because you know what I mean? It's the balance, man. You know what I mean? Nobody knows everything. But that leads us to this, or today's televised game 6 in this Western Conference Final showdown. I am just going to share the odds, as I always say, man, courtesy of FanDuel Sportsbook. FanDuel Sportsbook does not endorse this channel. This is not a spiel given to you because FanDuel's cutting me a check. You know what I mean? That's not. I'm just sharing the odds. This is what the odds makers are saying, and so I kind of like to give my commentary as I'm talking about what the odds makers are doing to see how it lines up. And I'll give a prediction, but again, it's not gambling advice for you. I'm just saying what I would do. It's on you what you do. If you gamble, gamble responsibly. So Indiana in this game is the favorite, giving the Knicks 4 points in the game. 4 points Indiana is giving the Knicks. Indiana is at home this evening, giving the Knicks 4 points in this game. If you think the Knicks are going to win straight up, you know what I mean? The money line is plus 148 for the Knicks. Dollar gets you $1.48. 220.5 points is the over under. What do I think about this game or about these odds? This game as it pertains to the odds. I believe this game. Initially, again, I was wrong because I had the Knicks. Like I said, I like to say when I'm right and when I'm wrong, because nobody's right all the time. But I predicted that the Knicks would win this series in 6 games. This is game six coming up this evening. The Knicks cannot win the series tonight. They can only hope to tie the series to force a game 7. That is exactly what the Knicks are going to do tonight. That's not what I think they're going to do. That's exactly what the Knicks are going to do tonight. They're going to force a game 7 tonight. And that's simply, again, by virtue of the momentum that they're carrying into this game and, you know, the reliance on and belief in their team concept of playing ball. I just think that they'll have the edge going back to New York. Not that Rick Carlisle won't have his team prepared for this game or the next, but in this particular game right here, man, I'm just looking for. I expect Brunson to come out and just have another stellar, you know, an incredible game offensively. This man he's fucking amazing. You know what I mean? So kudos to Brunson, man, for his consistency of play. I see that carrying over tonight. I think they'll get a big game as well from OG Anunoby, who I'm expecting a big game from tonight. I think Cat will put up, you know, decent numbers. I'm not expecting a 30-point game from him. I think somewhere about 18 or so will be solid for Cat tonight. If he can just stay on the glass too, that will be beneficial for them. But I'm looking for a huge game out of Brunson. So I believe that Brunson will put the team on his back today and just refuse to allow them to lose. And so that's for that reason, I think the 4 points is sweet if you want to take the 4 points, obviously, but I take the money line also just because I believe that they're going to win straight up. Will it go over 220 points? That's the question. So I don't think the game goes over 220, but I do think that the Knicks win the game. I think that the Knicks will come out with that, with the tenacity that they've displayed on defense in the last couple games. I think they'll come out with that. So I think this will be a low-scoring game early, and then, you know what I mean, the Knicks will just kind of pull away as they did in the last game. Could be wrong. This is just my prediction. I'm just telling you what those are and how they line up against the odds. That has been the basis of this particular episode, man. Bring on tonight's games. We'll see what happens in the games. My predictions come true. Again, I'm expecting the Knicks to force a game 7. We'll talk about what I predict is going to take place in that game 7 based on what happens tonight. If I'm wrong, then we'll see a NBA Finals kickoff here next week, somewhere toward the end of next week, midweek or so, with the Oklahoma City Thunder, who are awaiting their opponent, you know, which will be Indiana if the Knicks do not do exactly what I predicted they'll do tonight. But again, man, I'll catch you guys in the next episode. Like the video if you haven't done so already. Subscribe to the channel. Take care of yourselves until then. Blessings.